The human body does many things on a daily basis. One of the primary mechanisms that controls or regulates everything in the human body is the nervous system. The nervous system handles immediate responses to stimuli, interpretation of the stimuli, and the coordination of the activity of other organs. The nervous system has many divisions, all of which function in about the same way. The base unit of any division of the nervous system is called a neuron. This is a neuron. The membrane of a neuron is highly excitable with many different kinds of channels that respond to chemical changes. A neuron consists of a body or soma, an axon, and dendrites. The soma contains all of the major organelles like the nucleus, mitochondria, and ribosomes. All of these organelles work together to provide energy to the cell and synthesize organic materials. The axon of a neuron propagates a signal referred to as an action potential, and the dendrite receives this potential. At this point of the axon, called the axon hillock, the action potential summates to be sent down the axon to the dendrites of another neuron or to a target tissue. How does a neuron transport an action potential on a chemical level? Neurons have a property known as a resting membrane potential. Two important charged chemicals or ions involved in this resting membrane potential are sodium and potassium. The fluid inside of a neuron has a higher concentration of potassium ions, while the fluid outside of a neuron has a higher concentration of sodium ions. The cell membrane of a neuron has a resting membrane potential of -70 millivolts, because even though both sodium and potassium are positively charged ions, there is more sodium outside of the cell than there is potassium inside of the cell. Additionally, some organelles and other substances that are within the cell have a negative charge. This gradient of ion concentration is crucial in the first step of action potential propagation called depolarization. A chemical stimulus is applied to one point on the neuron. This causes sodium channels in the cell membrane to open. When this sodium floods into the cell, it changes the membrane potential to +30 millivolts. The next step is called repolarization. Membrane potential reaches +30 millivolts, the sodium channels close and potassium channels open to balance the membrane potential. However, when positive potassium ions are rushing out of the cell, the membrane potential can drop below our resting potential of -70 millivolts to perhaps -80 millivolts or more. Eventually, resting membrane potential is restored by a pump in the cell membrane of a neuron that brings potassium back into the cell while pumping sodium out of the cell. Then, your body is ready to start the process all over again, allowing communication between and control of all tissues within the human body.